Yes, I know, busy week. I get it. There's a lot here this week, but it's a place to start and a place to play around. Again, don't stress over it. Take it one step at a time and play around with it, and everything should be fine. There's a couple more things I want to teach you this week, and that's because it's all introductory and then again kind of all goes together. And that is a couple times when you have data out there, you want to either update your data or you want to delete your data. Okay, and yes, so let's just pretend that Cincinnati State tells you you need to update your password. And so you go online and you update your password. What do you think is happening behind the scenes? Well, it's updating your password on your row of the database that represents you. So it's literally doing this thing called an update command. So let me show you what an update command is all about. So we go back out here to W3 Schools. At least I will try. There it is right there. And we will go to update. You don't use these a lot, but you use them a little bit. So I keep clicking on the wrong thing, I guess. There we go. Well, what's going on? Yay, I finally got it. And so in this case here, update says, I want to update my table. I'm going to set what the column name, okay, to this new content. So in this case here, what's happening is updating the customer table where it's going to set the content, okay, set the contact name to Alfred Schmidt and the city to Frankfurt. It's going to do that on this where clause, okay? It's very important you have a where clause on an update statement. You don't have to, but let me show you what happens when you don't, okay? So let's go ahead and play around with these update statements. What I like for you to do, and you'll be asked to do this in your assignments, is do a select right before it. So let's do this right here. We're going to select some students, okay? And like this, and you can see we have students here and all the information associated with it, okay? And what we want to do is we want to change, let's just say, I'm not going to go crazy here. Let's say that Sally got married and changed her last name. We'll go with that, okay? And so Sally comes in and says, I need to change my information. I got married and I'm changing my last name. And they say, oh, congratulations, that's great. Let's go into the system, change it, press enter, and so on. What happens? Well, it updates. So we see right here is Sally Smith. So what we want to do, I'm going to take that, cut and paste it right there. And I'm going to come over here and say, I'm going to update T students, not students, T students, there you go. Okay, and I'm going to update her STR last name. See that right there? Okay, and I'm going to get rid of the city thing here. Just you can do multiple ones by having and in there, and we're going to change it to, I don't know, it's now Sally what? Sally, oh my gosh, I should have had this. So Sally Nye, that's my daughter's last name now. And so I panicked there for a second. You focus so hard on doing all this right, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I got to come up with the last name. So if I did this and I go, and basically I'm going to do this where, you know, the student ID, we'll keep it at that right now. The student ID equals 2, right? Because I'm pointing to Sally. You see that right there? So we need to make sure we're pointing to the right place. Well, I named that so it's INT student ID. There you go. Make sure you name it correctly. So what this is going to do is I'm going to execute this update, and then I'm going to rerun. And I would recommend you kind of take it and put it on the bottom here like this. I'm going to rerun this little script to see what happened. And we can see now it's Sally Nye. Magic, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. And so that is actually pretty cool. Now let's go back here and say that I reran this right here, and I reran this, basically Sally Nye, and let's just, I'm going to stop right there, but I forget my where clause. I forget to put my where clause in. I'm going to go ahead and execute this, okay? Execute completed. Now let's go back and look at this. Uh-oh. Not only is Sally and I, so is James, Jose, and Lon, okay? Not good. So the moral of the story is when you're doing an update, you need to make sure what you're updating. If you don't have a where clause, you're going to update everything in the database. So if I had a true student database in Cincinnati State, we have 8,000 students now, but we basically have, every student that ever went to Cincinnati State, everybody would become nine. Not cool. Now, what do you do in those cases? Usually you have backups and you'll all take care of itself. You just gotta back it up and or restore the backup so give everybody their true last names. So in your case, just make sure when you're doing an update, you always have a where clause, okay? In this case. Now, what are we going to do? What happens if you accidentally do this? No big deal. Come back up here, rerun the script, which would delete the tables, recreate them, add the data back into them again, and everybody is happy. Everybody's an I, or does only Sally's an I, okay, in that case there. Does that make sense? Okay, so adding an update, let's go back down here. Usually what I ask you to do in your assignments is to do this little select statement first so you can see the before and the after of your update. You don't do that in real life, but it's for you to actually see that your update took hold. Okay, let's go to the next one real fast. So also, if I sit back and I do want to add another one, I can put and maybe we want to say, I don't know what, str, whoops, not there. And str, oh, it's not an and, it's a comma, right? Thank you. I usually put a comma, sorry. And str, and we'll just play around with this and say city is now equal to Florence. I know it doesn't really make sense, but whatever, you get the whole idea, okay? And so if I wanted to do two things here, so again, we'll go ahead and run these three together like this. This is what I like to do. And we can see that beforehand that Sally Nye was in Norwood, and now she's in Florence. So not only do we change her last name, we change her city also. So if you have more than one things you need to update, you just keep adding commas, and that's how that works. So if I had a third one to do, I have another comma and put it there. It's not the word and, it's a comma that you separate on your updates. Okay? And again, go look at W3 Schools to do those. We're just playing around with data. We're just playing around with data. All right, I want to take this and show you one more thing, and that will be just about it for this week and allow you to go play around yourself. The last one is delete, okay? And so delete's a very dangerous one from the mere fact that it deletes rows from the database. It's pretty simple, delete from customers. And again, you can have a where clause, okay? I'm going to say the same thing to you. What happens if I don't have a where clause? If I just say delete from customers, what do you think happens? You're right, it deletes every row, so that'd be very dangerous, okay? So in this case here, I'm going to modify this and say delete. If I could spell it, there you go. I don't need a set, don't need anything like this. Matter of fact, this is the minimal amount I actually have, right? So if I sit back and I do this right here and run this, look what happens. I just said delete from T students. Here's the before, here's the after. The after has nothing in it. That's very dangerous. So we always want to have a where clause in this thing, okay? So in this case, it's going to delete Sally. Let me go back up here, rerun my script from the beginning, because now I already deleted all the rows in that table. They're gone. They're permanently gone. So now I'm going to have to go restore them, rerun my script from the beginning again, right? I'll drop the tables, re-add the tables, add all the data back, and we should be back to normal again, okay? I'm going to run it. Everything looks good. Matter of fact, here's all these result sets down here. But let's go and just focus on this one real fast. Control R to get rid of that once again. And let's look at the before and after with this one. And you can see what happened. Let's see. Did it work? So let's see. So 2. Do we already delete Sally somewhere else? Updated. We updated Sally. Update. Did I mess up something? Oh, I did because I already deleted her before. All right, let's see. What do I want to do? I'm going to do this. When I say before, when I actually ran the script, it already deleted her all the way through. So I'm going to delete this. Go back up here. I don't know if you're following me or not on this one. I'm going to restore all that data. Do a Control R. I'll come back down here. And I know I'm going fast. That's not good. But I'm going to go ahead and delete Sally now. Okay, so if we look at this one right here, Sally's now in there. There she is. And now I'm going to execute the next two. I'm going to delete her, and we'll see that she's not there. You might be asking, matter of fact, I think it's a good lesson. Well, why wasn't she there to begin with? Well, because I ran this entire script from beginning to end, and it actually deleted her. And when I went back to run it again, she was already gone. Does that make sense? Okay, all the way through. Whew, a lot this week. But that's what this is all about, playing with data, installing data, and playing with it. So this whole little video was about updating and deleting. Play with it a little bit. Again, playing is the key word here to actually learn how to do this stuff. Don't fear errors, embrace them. Figure out what the errors are. Don't be scared about doing it 100% right all the time. Just make sure you're learning as you go through it. Play around, make things work, and once you do, you'll feel really good about yourself, okay?